So, last week, I still was a little bit sick, and I still have a cough now. So that means that I will be careful with my voice, but I think we'll manage. Let's see. The live scene is now a square of me because the circle has ended. Okay, we're live on Twitch and live on Discord. And I wonder, for those listening, let me put the volume a little bit up. For those listening, I wonder where you are located. I don't need your home address, but if you could type the country you are in the group meditation text chat or Twitch chat. I think that's always nice to see where people are located. I see India. Oh, Caballo, I know, is in Italy. Is that correct, Caballo? Indeed, indeed. Belfast, so England or UK, is that correct? And Netherlands. Well, Loes, then we're relatively close to each other because I'm also in the Netherlands. Hey, Emily. Where are you from, Emily? Which country? All right, I see. So 2 from England, Netherlands, India, and Italy. Oh, I see. Thanks, Adi, for clearing that up. Belfast is in Northern Ireland. My geography skills have left me with that one. Thanks for clearing it up. Let me start up the video again. And that's a good reminder to turn off the notification alert box. There we go. All right. Well, let's get set up. As I explained before, last week I was still a little bit sick. I didn't have COVID, but I did have some throat pain, and that's still a little bit there, which means I cough very regularly. So for me right now, the practice is also going to be to talk in a way that doesn't bring my throat to irritation or coughing. And I'm from the Netherlands, by the way, Emily. Okay. Before we start, I can recommend you find a comfortable place, either to sit or lay down. And if you can even get an extra blankie. Or if you're sitting in a chair, that's fine too. And I put my phone away while I'm doing this. And maybe for you that could mean closing the door or whatever else to minimize any distraction. If distraction comes up during the session, that's fine. But it's good to, before we start, take those extra steps to make sure we can be comfortable and we can be relatively undisturbed. Okay. Then, without further ado, let's simply begin. And I'll guide you through the session. At the beginning, you'll hear the bell, and at the end, you'll hear the bell, so that you know the session has began and ended. And if you care to, you can close your eyes. Or if you'd like to keep them open, I can recommend your gaze going a little bit downwards and not focusing on anything in particular. And now, depending on whether you sit or lay down, let's take a moment to become aware of our posture. Tucking our neck a little bit in and making sure our spine is relatively upright. If you're sitting, making sure if you're sitting on a chair that your feet touch the ground, that your legs aren't crossed in a way that block the blood flow unnecessarily. And what I like to do is place my hands on my lap in a relaxed manner. And if you're laying down, you can put your hands next to your body on either side and let your feet fall naturally to the side. Most important is that we don't strain our body, yet we have a relatively upright posture to not fall asleep or lose our awareness. And then moving our attention to our breathing. If you can, making sure you breathe through your nose. And we're not trying to control the breath, but simply be aware of the physical sensation, either when the breath passes through your nostrils or with your belly expanding and contracting with each inhale and exhale. Being aware of this physical sensation of the breath, noticing how it moves and changes in each and every moment. Naturally, you might notice throughout time that your attention can drift off. This is nothing to worry about. And in fact, this is to be expected to some degree. Maybe thoughts about the past or the future, or other things that come up in your field of awareness. The task is simply to, every time we notice, to guide that attention back to the physical sensation of the breath. When it passes through your nostrils, or maybe noticing it in your abdomen as it expands and contracts. Don't worry about success or failure. Simply let your attention rest, and if it drifts off, you guide it back. And if you care to, expanding the attention from the physical sensation of the breath to include a sense of the entire physical body as it sits here or lays down. All of the parts connected as a whole. Just being aware of the physical body. Expanding it to include the head, neck, shoulders, the chest, back, the belly, the genital area, your legs, your feet, your hands, all of them. Notice how they are simply there, sitting or laying down, and noticing it from moment to moment, connecting with your body, not based on what you think, based on what you experience right here and now. And if the attention drifts off, no problem. That's okay. You'll find you can guide it back. And now, as our attention is guided back again and again to the body, you might notice certain sensations coming up, some stronger than others. And that's to be expected too. That's okay. Maybe you notice tension in some places, or maybe other sensations. Now, as I said when we talked about the posture, the idea is not to force ourselves or our body into something that is uncomfortable. Instead, having a restful awareness. A restorative moment. Breathing naturally. If you notice any tension that you can release, then you can release. I noticed my expression on my face was a little bit tighter, so I relax. And you can do the same in the places where you notice tension that you can release. Don't worry about tension that you can't release. It might be stored in your body. Maybe it came throughout the day, that's fine. We're working with our body as it is right now, in whatever state it is. And then broadening our attention to include the entire body again. Whatever might arise, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, that's okay. Becoming aware of it, and then letting the attention rest again on the body. And through our body, we are accessing the being mode. Moving from doing, from activity, from sensory impulses, to simply being. Sitting, laying down, just noticing what is. Letting it arise and pass. Understanding and accepting that maybe all this activity or thoughts or physical sensations that might arise are a natural result of the things we've done today, the things we consumed or learned about or that we saw. All those things will naturally bubble up to the surface. And anchoring ourselves to the body, we'll notice that these bubbles, they don't disturb these calm, deeper waters. We simply let them go. We'll notice our being, a sense of effortless effort that is underneath all these busy bubbles, all this mind and body activity. And so, anchoring ourselves to the body, letting our attention rest on whatever we experience in the body, experiencing the body as a whole. We are applying no forceful action. We're not trying to concentrate really hard. We don't have to strain ourselves. We simply have to let go. And in this letting go, if you care to, you can include all of the things that arise in your present moment experience, not as something to be held on to or to attach to, but as simply something to acknowledge and be aware of when it arises. So if you care to, you can expand your attention to include body, but also all of the other senses, and even thoughts and feelings that might arise. Not to focus on them, but to let them bubble up to the surface naturally, by itself, effortlessly, without effort. And letting go. Opening up to whatever there is right here and now. And of course, if you notice a certain bubble that's fairly persistent, feel free to anchor yourself to the sensation of the body or the breath, to just touch base for a moment. And from there, letting go again. Opening up. Just knowing that there's always this access to the present moment if you feel you get lost. If you feel it works, that's okay. If you feel it doesn't work, that's okay. We don't have to strive for success or failure right now. All we do is let go, and anything that comes up, that's okay. Just noticing all of the sensations that come up, whether it's sound or a thought or a physical sensation. Just being aware of anything occurring in the present moment. And without attaching or pushing away, just letting it be and noticing how your attention, your awareness can rest. This alert, yet restorative, kind of attention, mindfulness. And as we come to the last moments of this meditation, feel free to narrow your attention again to the physical sensation of the breath as it enters your body through your nostrils and as your belly expands and contracts with each inhale and exhale. Just noticing this as we come to the end of the session. you care to, you can gently open your eyes, noticing maybe how your body feels as you move, maybe your hands or your feet. Introducing a little motion again to the body that was still before. Noticing how that feels. And if you care to, you can share your experience in text on the group meditation text channel or on Twitch. Or if you'd like to talk about your experience, then this is the moment too. Today, we did a guided meditation starting with the breath, then moving to the entire body, and in the end, opening up our awareness to all of the different sensations that can arise in the present moment. And I emphasized no effort, because our being mode requires no effort. It's always there. It's sometimes just a little bit buried or hidden behind clouds or bubbles of activity. Caballo says, I started getting into the habit of doing light yoga before meditation. Not doing it today and thinking about the bubble of sensation made me aware of the pain I was obscuring about a current rejection in a relationship I had. So there you see that sometimes when we let go, things start to surface that normally we might not even allow to surface. Sometimes that can be scary. Sometimes that can be insightful. But I believe it's always necessary to understand what our body and mind is actually experiencing in the present moment. And yes, it's very natural for us humans to try to obscure our pain, because we tend to seek out pleasant experiences and we tend to shy away or fight unpleasant experiences. Another reason why mindfulness is so important, because it can make you aware of the broad range of things that are going on inside you, and not only focusing on the pleasant or focusing only on the unpleasant, which can also happen, depending, of course, on your state of mind. Anyone else want to share their experience? I see AD or ID typing. That was pretty calming. Yeah, so that's the funny thing, or the intriguing thing for me about meditation, is that while it seems very hard, actually meditation itself is very I'd say almost natural. It's very natural to simply rest, restore, but be attentive and alert at the same time. And because of that, we can experience it as calming. However, it can also happen that we experience it as very stressful, especially when our mind is so busy that it would rather not take a moment of space and silence. And so, it's important as you practice meditation to not strain yourself too much, but also understanding what can be helpful for you. So usually 10 to 20 minutes is recommended. And of course, when possible, daily. But even if you do it 3 times a week, and if you notice it's straining to do 10 minutes, you can do 5 minutes. All of that is okay. What's important is to make it part of your life in some way, where possible. But don't worry. There's no reason to feel shame or guilt when you can't. And I hope that through these sessions and also the community, you'll find other people who are also interested in it and hopefully motivating you time and time again to return to it. That's what happens for me too. Sometimes I pick up a book and I read about it, or I talk with someone on the server, and it's just gentle reminders again and again to take that time for yourself, to become mindful of what is happening, and to not strain yourself or try to guilt trip yourself for not doing it. It's okay. Even that, outside of the meditation, is still meditation. If you notice you didn't meditate, and you notice that and it comes up, that's also still part of some meditation. And then at that moment, you can bring your attention to your breath. Maybe you do 10 seconds, maybe 3 minutes. Or maybe at that moment, you bring your attention to setting a timer or putting it in your agenda, or, life is meditation. It's the practice of meditation is simply there as a practice to hopefully make us understand how we can always, at every moment, navigate this attention of ours and be mindful. Okay? I'd say thank you all for being here. I wish you all a great start of the week, and I hope to see you next time, hopefully with a little less coughing, although, as I said from the beginning, my challenge today was to be very mindful of my voice, to not cough, and that was an extra practice for me. Remy says, thank you, have a great day and week. Thank you all. Thank you, Emily, Adi, Egon or Agon, Adi, Caballo, Remy. Let's see. It's always funny to go into the 5DS, Editor Girl, Mandy K, Toms. Thank you all for joining, and those on Twitch too. I hope to see you next time and wish you a great week. Bye bye, everyone.